think about it. You don't have to carry home the cans of all of these, beans and nuts and whatever. You don't have to carry those. You can just get your little sack of beans or nuts in bulk. Hello, welcome, or welcome back. My name's Erin, and today, what's on my mind? I want to talk about sustainability. It's a hot topic because of another hot topic, which is climate change or global warming. It's a crisis level issue now, but with government regulation and policies put in place to combat climate change and can push back against these old industries, we can make a dent in the impact that we have made so far and kind of slow down the pace of climate change. It's really going to change how we live if we don't start doing something now, today. And I know what you're thinking.
This is too big of an issue for little old me to solve.
True. I won't say no. A lot of these industries have huge responsibility to do anything about climate change. And the thing that keeps me going when I think about sustainability, I think about, okay, even though it's just me doing this action or not, buying this thing, that's one less person who is contributing to 1 to 5 plastic bags in the ocean. And I'm one less person telling the meat industry, dairy industry, coal, telling these industries that are harmful to our environment that there is less of a demand for these products. I know it can be intimidating to start, so I wanted to give some tips on the things that I did when I first started trying to live a more sustainable life. And these are going to be realistic because a lot of these things, a lot of the tips and videos that you see are just stop creating waste. Just stop. And that's hard. Also with sustainability, there is an innate privilege in the ability to do this. And I don't think a lot of YouTube videos and starter guides take that into account and acknowledge that there is privilege in this ability to start a sustainable lifestyle. Just know that it is mostly the industries that have the responsibility to make big changes. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to break down these tips by home, beauty, out and about, clothing, and food. So let's start with home. My 2 tips for home are to swap out your cleaning agents with eco-friendly options and to compost. Swapping out your cleaning agents with eco-friendly ones, you are essentially getting rid of those toxic materials in your household. There are a ton of eco-friendly options out there that allow you to get your stuff just as clean without the toxic chemicals, because those chemicals are toxic to our environment and they're also toxic to yourself. You don't want to be breathing in all of those chemicals while you're doing a deep clean or anything. So I recommend using, I forgot what the brand is, but it's at Target. It's green and yellow, and it's an eco-friendly option, and their scents smell good too. And there's also Blue Land, which sells the reusable plastic bottles, and you put in tablets and water, and you can just use those to clean. Now, composting. Yes, I said composting. If you don't know what composting is, it is when you take your food scraps and put them into a bucket, and you can send off your bucket, or you can make your own compost with worms and paper and a bunch of other organic materials, and that goes into the soil and basically fertilizes the soil. Now, I love composting because I use a lot of fruits and vegetables when I cook, and it just feels so wasteful to throw all of those things out. Composting also cuts down your waste, your actual trash waste. As to how to get started composting, you can look up in your city or wherever you live, if there are any composting services that have cans that they'll allow you to put your food in, and you pay for it. You pay for the service, and then they'll take your food scraps wherever, and then they'll send you a new bucket. Or if you are ambitious, you can start your own compost in your backyard and look up all of the necessary materials to get started on that. Now we have beauty. There's so many things to do for beauty, but my two main tips for beauty are to opt in for no packaging or minimal packaging products, and see if the product that you're buying has a program to buy back or to take back the containers. By shopping for beauty products with minimal packaging or no packaging, you really cut down on the packaging really that you use, which brings me to my other point of companies that offer buyback programs or recycling programs for their products. This is a really good option because sometimes we do need our things and we have to use those specific things. But if a company has a recycling program, that is kudos, hand claps all around, because I will send my stuff back in a heartbeat and I will buy more. Out and about. My two things for being out and about are to use a water bottle, a reusable water bottle instead of a plastic one, and then public transportation. Plastic water bottles are they're trash. I mean, they're literally trash. They're terrible for the environment. So I have started bringing a water bottle everywhere I go. You do not see me without my water bottle. It is like my child. It's me, and then right beside me is my water bottle. That's how serious I take it. Public transportation. This is a very common one that people talk about, taking the bus or train if that's available to you. But I know that some people do not live in major cities or don't live in places where public transportation is so accessible. I have the absolute pleasure of living in Chicago, and our public transportation is just top notch. Would not trade it for anything. But for people, let's say in LA, public transportation isn't that great and doesn't go everywhere. Or if you absolutely have to drive and drive by yourself, I would check if your car can take diesel fuel. A lot of people don't talk about diesel fuel going into cars, but
I don't know anything about cars, so I'm going to stay relatively quiet on this.
But I'm pretty sure that you can check for your car to see if it will take diesel fuel, and that would be a much better option than using conventional gas. Diesel fuel, while it's still gas, it releases fewer CO2 emissions, and so that is just one less car giving off all those CO2 emissions. Clothing. I could go on for literal days talking about clothing and sustainable ways for purchasing clothing and everything, but I will refrain since this is supposed to be a short video with quick and hot tips. My two pieces of advice: stop buying fast fashion products and invest in more expensive and higher quality pieces, and donate your clothes appropriately. Now, for clothing and purchasing higher quality and more expensive clothes, I know this isn't accessible for everyone. However, for those of us who have the money to do this, I highly suggest it. There are a ton of websites and retailers now that sell sustainable clothing, and you can just see on their website if they like what they do for sustainability, how they treat their factory workers. But basically, buying these sustainable brands, informs places like Zara and H&M that we don't need you, and you're able to keep, let's say you're able to keep your pair of jeans for more than a year. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. Donating your clothing appropriately. I'm getting anxiety even thinking about the thrift stores. But please tell me in the comment section if you've ever seen a bare thrift store. I will wait. No, you haven't. And I can guarantee you they have so much more stuff than you can ever even imagine in the back, but you just don't see it. They just put out the stuff that they know they're going to be able to sell, and they're like, we'll just put these here, and we'll pretend like we don't have that much stuff, but once they purchase this and a bunch of other things, and we are going to then unload all of our other inventory that we have in the back. Thrift stores have so much clothing and so much stuff, and it's because people want to just get rid of it. So instead of dropping your clothes off at a thrift store, I suggest you try and sell them on Depop or Poshmark. And another option is to join a Facebook group that has clothing swaps. Some people will be like, hey, I'm looking for this, or you can post about the clothes that you have, or are looking to give away in the group, and most likely someone will take it. Or another option is to drop the clothes off at a women's shelter or another shelter of some sort. If the clothes are business wear or nicer clothes and you aren't having luck selling them, or you just want to get rid of them, I always say donating to a shelter is a lot better, because the people in that shelter will be able to use those clothes. Finally, food. I'm actually quite hungry. So personally, I am a vegetarian. I'm trying to lean more towards being a vegan just because I'm realizing that is what works the best for me. But my 2 tips for food are to buy in bulk and to purchase locally. I know they have this at Whole Foods as an option, where they have the scooper, I almost said scooper pooper. They have the scoop things that you can put into a bag and buy things in bulk that way. Oh, they also have legumes and stuff. And purchasing veggies in season. If you're somewhere where it's nice and warm and there are a bunch of farmers markets, you can probably get your fruits and vegetables, maybe eggs and cheese, at a farmer's market. And that way you'll be helping out the local farmers that live in your state or neighborhood. How cool is that? It's a really good option for, it also helps buy produce that is in season. If you're like me and live somewhere where it is not nice and warm all the time, then signing up for a produce delivery program like Imperfect Foods. I think it's Imperfect Foods. Because grocery stores throw away so many vegetables that they say are ugly. Well, that's all I have. I love talking about sustainability. I can talk about it all day. Hence the shadows behind me. So if you all want to see another video where I talk about sustainability, just let me know, because I will gladly do another one ASAP. Also, let me know in the comments if you start following any of these tips. I will be so proud. Alright, bye!